Okay.
Absolutely.
Here we go. So get your popcorn ready because we got your recruiting roundup coming at you here. So we've got some names that I think a lot of you want to know about. With beginning here with Savion Hyder, and so that's somebody that we've been monitoring for the better. I mean, maybe 9-10 months. I mean, we've been looking at it for a long time for Savion Hyder. I mean, what is some of the latest that you've seen from his recruitment?
Yeah, so this is like really interesting. This recruiting roundup or this update. We're talking about elite talent here. Every single name on here is like, dude, bro. We're talking about 5 stars or top of the position type players. Savion Hyder is the number 1 running back in the nation, and all eyes are kind of on Savion Hyder because, and we will get to Javion Osborne. And those who have been following recruiting know what has occurred within the last week with him. So now we're kind of looking at Savion Hyder. Where does Michigan stand? We know he did say Michigan was the leader. Currently, Steve Wilfong has maintained that Michigan is still the leader for Savion Hyder. Georgia is going to be pushing hard. And because of the recent predictions that have gone in for Javion Osborne, people are wondering, does this make Savion Hyder less interested? Does he want to be a part of that Sonic and Knuckles duo that makes Michigan the most dominant running backfield in college football for years to come? Well, all accounts are that Savion Hyder is still staying course. He plans on making his June 13th through the 15th official visit, and he will be making a decision after his official visits. And currently, as things stand, as of February 25th, it still appears that Michigan is, to quote Steve Wilfong, the team to beat. And that's excellent news because the Michigan perspective is that Savion Hyder is a generational running back. They believe that Savion Hyder is very special. So they're going to continue to pursue him. And that's excellent news because Javion Osborne, John.
Yeah.
Who we're going to pull up his huddle tape here for you guys because we have actually not watched Javion Osborne yet on this channel. So I want to share this with you guys so you guys can get an idea of who this running back is. Last time I checked, he was the number 4 running back in the nation. And as you guys may know or may not know, Michigan has stolen, or the Lions have stolen Texas's running back coach, who has now plucked him from Texas and made him their running back coach for the Detroit Lions. So my Detroit Lions have helped Michigan. And because of that move, Tony Alford has made a strong play for Javion Osborne. As you guys check him out on the highlight tape, this kid is legit, very good, extremely balanced, has quickness, has vision, all of it. He's a very good player. We're excited to be receiving predictions, not only from On3, but 247. And there is a lot of positive momentum right now that Michigan is going to be the team for Javion Osborne because Tony Alford, who Ohio State could not recruit, wrong again, is his best relationship, and he really has a good bond with him. And not only does he have a good bond with him, he really likes seeing himself being a part of Michigan's power offense with our offensive line mentality, our running back mentality, and then, of course, playing alongside Bryce Underwood. So these are all exciting things for a young prospect, and things are trending in an excellent trajectory for Javion Osborne. There's a very strong, and I'm aware that, there's some people on the 247 side who don't want to, it's recruiting. Anything can happen, right? Things can change. But I will say, we're feeling really good now, boys. We're feeling really good about this. I'm optimistic that this is definitely trending blue, and it may happen sooner than later too. And I want to give you guys an update. Javion Osborne is going to be visiting Michigan March 28th for an unofficial multi-day visit, by the way. And now I am assuming here, but just from following recruiting for a while, when you have a player who's the momentum is where it is right now, very strong, and you have a player who's going to be doing a multi-day official visit, it is my opinion, and this is an assumption on my end, Michigan can close. It's going to be closing season, and I think they can get him. Again, no intel here, just my opinion. I think they can get him before official visits occur and lock him up. I believe Michigan's in that good of a position, and I'm telling you guys, he's coming from Texas. Okay, he's paying on his dime to do a multi-day visit at Michigan. That's no coincidence. All right, guys. So in my opinion, things are in a great direction there. Be on the lookout for Javion Osborne. The next player we're going to talk about, John.
Real quick on him. So do you think that so there are two things that I saw with respect to this. Number one, canceling the official visit to Texas looked like a really positive indicator, but I am seeing a little bit of buzz about Alabama. But given the fact that he's now investing out of his own dime to come for an unofficial, do you think he's that Michigan has left Alabama in the dust when it comes to this recruitment?
Look, there's going to be teams that are going to enter the ring. It's just the lead is so large right now. And and here's another thing too about Javion Osborne is he's a relationships kid. So he really has a strong relationship with Tony Alford. It is my opinion that the relationship is so strong, it'll be hard for teams to make up ground. And here's the thing, you're not going to out NIL Michigan. So this isn't gonna be one of those things where Alabama decides you know what, today's the day. We're just gonna we just beat them out for Ty Haywood. Now, again, there is a point where Michigan will only NIL so far. So I suppose it's possible a team, especially a team like Tennessee, but they're not in this, by the way. But a school like that, Miami is though. Miami is one of those schools. So you could have a school like a Miami who decides we're gonna get crazy. But at the same time, I just feel like Michigan's in such a great position right now. This is not something listen, Michigan was considered the favorite in December. Texas pulled ahead, especially having the running back coach that they had. I can't remember his name. I think it's Tashard Choice. I could be wrong though on that, so don't quote me. I should know because the Lions just hired him. But regardless, Michigan has now taken the lead. And listen, we only have a few months here, guys. A lot has to occur for Javion Osborne to be going in a different direction. It is my opinion, especially with the aggression that Michigan is taking for the 26 class for running backs. I just feel very good right now. I'm very confident about our position. I'm not worried about Alabama at this moment. So it is Tashard Choice. Okay. I feel good about it. And I will let you guys know if that changes. So if that changes, we'll give you guys an update on that. But currently, as it stands, I'm feeling very optimistic about Javion Osborne as a Michigan Wolverine.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
those two together, Hyder and Osborne.
Well, let's see if they can do it. What a combo! Let's see if they can do it, man. But I'm going to be real with you. Michigan is not effing around right now. We're going to get into that because these are big time players we're going to talk about. And one thing you'll notice with the players we're talking about now, and the players who are being scheduled to visit, we're talking about elite talent. Michigan is not bargain bin shopping right now. And I also want to talk about at the end of this recruiting update, John, the approach that Michigan is taking. All right, the approach that a school like Michigan, I don't want to quote it and say that I know for a fact. I feel confident in some things, but in terms of what Michigan is doing, in terms of why isn't Michigan landing? Why is USC balling out right now? Why is USC getting all these commits, number one class in 2026? We'll talk about that at the end of the recruiting update. I want to give you guys kind of my view on how that's all being played out right now. But Felix Oho, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But 5-star offensive tackle. Michigan has been on this kid for a very long time. Currently plan to visit Michigan June 6th through 8th for an official visit. There is a belief he's trending SEC. I'm trying to remember. I think it's either Georgia. I think it's Georgia. That's the school that is currently trying. I could be wrong there. There's another school that is kind of the favorite right now. But at the end of the day, boys, we know how recruiting works. We know that it doesn't matter if you lead because official visits can change things. Phone calls can change things. But at the end of the day, this is a player that Michigan has been recruiting for a long time. Relationships have been built, especially before he got bumped up to a 5-star. Michigan's been on it early. And what I want to just bring to you guys is that he is scheduled for an official visit June 6th through June 8th. And it'll be interesting to see how this one progresses. We'll find out how things trend. Currently, I think it is Georgia. I think they're currently the favorite to get him, but we'll see how that one plays out. The big one everyone wants to talk about, and we've had some updates on this pretty frequently, Jackson Cantwell. Our own recruiting analyst of the Voice of College Football, Leanne Herring, has also along with other recruiting analysts, have discussed that Michigan is a dark horse here. They are in the top group and they are a player. Now, Oregon is considered the early favorite. Georgia's another power program making a move here. But Michigan, we know how Michigan operates, guys. Like Michigan is a Joe Moore award-winning NIL power right now, and they're not to be slept on. So what's very interesting right now is that Jackson Cantwell has set an official visit to Michigan June 13th. So we are going to get an official visit. We're going to get our opportunity. We'll be able to swing. Hopefully we got some momentum heading into it. And I feel that, if the Michigan, I feel we'll get into, I'll get into what I believe Michigan's doing recruiting wise, and we'll see if it plays out how I think it's going to play out. But we'll get into that. But I do feel, I'll give a little like snippet here. I feel there's going to be momentum heading into official visits, and I think Michigan can make some moves. We'll see though. What I do know, and I've told you guys this since October, 2026, they're planning for a big year. 2026, they're trying to get a top 5 class. I have said that consistently, and I still feel strong about that. Our next player we're going to talk about, John, who I am a major fan of. This is one of my early crushes in the 26 class, Travis Johnson. I love this kid. I swear we get him. I'm going to be so ecstatic because this is a 6'3" wide receiver out of Virginia. He's a personal favorite of mine. He's going to be visiting June 13th for an official visit. Underwood is personally recruiting him, and his mom is very public on social media discussing about how excited she is to be coming to Michigan. I even made a post about Travis Johnson coming to Michigan, and she commented on it, simply saying, we cannot wait to get there. And I let her know we are glad to have you there and we can't wait to have you there. But I mean, it's just stuff like that. His mom's very vocal, very excited about Michigan. And from my understanding, like Michigan's in a very good place here. And this is one of the wide receivers who we're going to talk about, the next wide receiver, which we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give a shout out to one of my social media guys. I can't remember who posted it, but they gave a projection of like maybe not optimal, but maybe like realistic ideal class for Michigan for 2026, which we will talk about after we talk about Tristan Keys. And if we are able to land these 4 wide receivers, which I will talk about, major, like it'd be major. And I think Michigan could. I think it's potentially possible Michigan can. And the next player we're going to talk about, John, is Tristan.
Travis, real quick, something notable that he said is that, not only does he have a really good relationship with the head coach, Sharon Moore, but and told him happy birthday, but he also came to his high school with Chip Lindsey and, very notably, Sean McGee, general manager. And when Sean McGee comes to town,
that's right.
Like, this is serious business, and we're talking business and NIL here.
That's right.
Not just hey, we're just going to come by and sit. No, when Sean McGee comes to watch you, it's serious.
Yeah, and it's because Michigan has him at the top of the board. Michigan, like Underwood, like I said, this is one where Underwood's definitely making a presence felt, and we're gonna find out if Michigan can pull it off. But I am extremely, Sean McGee is. We got to be careful with Sean McGee because word is there's some NFL teams and potentially other programs taking a look at Sean McGee right now. But hopefully, but nothing to be worried about right now. Just something we should be aware of. But anyways, regardless. When we look at Travis Johnson, we look at this next player, John, Tristan Keys, who we're going to pull his huddle tape up. This is the true number 1 wide receiver in the nation. And we have talked about Tristan Keys a little bit, John. And one of the things we talked about, and again, and it's okay, and it's all love, because I even got some feedback on social media where you guys have, I've had an individual reach out to me and say, I apologize for not believing. It's all good. It's all love. Because what I told you guys was Michigan is going to be making aggressive NIL moves for some of the elite talent in 2026 because they are looking to land an elite wide receiver. And I told you guys maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I felt that Michigan, once Bryce Underwood hits the field, once they see Chip Lindsey's offense and they see our offensive system and the way things look, I do believe Michigan's going to land a top 100, top 50 type wide receiver. And there's no doubt that Michigan is aggressively pursuing in the NIL here. And what's exciting about the Tristan Keys development is initially Michigan was left off of his top schools list, John. But guess what?
What's that?
Tristan Keys is going to be visiting Michigan April 5th. And guess who's on this recruitment, John?
Who's on the recruitment? Is it Queen Jolene?
It is Queen Jolene, baby. Queen Jolene is on. Queen Jolene is not only on some of these other ones like Jackson Cantwell. This is another Queen Jolene recruitment. So now does that guarantee Tristan Keys to Michigan? No, but what it does is it shows that Michigan's not effing around in terms of landing an elite talent for Bryce Underwood for this offense. And I'm going to be honest, man. When I found out that about Queen Jolene, and also it's not even just that. Michigan has a very motivated NIL approach to these elite guys right now. And that is why you are seeing, again, that's why I wanted to point out the elite talent in this update, because Michigan's really swinging and they're really going for it. Now we'll see how this progresses, because this is, again, something I will not guarantee that we will land, but Michigan is in the fight. And that is all we've asked for, because if you guys remember recruiting the last 3 years or so, 2 to 3 years, we were not in these battles. And if we did not have NIL to where we have it now, and we did not have a Sean McGee, we did not have donors like Queen Jolene, and then, for example, Jackson Canwell, which I didn't even mention, Dave Portnoy's on that one as well. Like, we have a strong donor base who are really stepping up, allowing Michigan to be in these elite recruitments. And in my opinion, actually, it's not in my opinion, these are exciting times for Michigan, and I'm extremely excited about the trajectory. And this dude's a monster, by the way. I'll tell you what, John, we land Tristan Keys. We're doing an instant live, and I'm not capping it. We're going to go as long as we got to go. Like, these are like, if we land, bro, we land Tristan Keys or Jackson Canwell or Savion Hyder, we're going to have one of those special lives. I'll tell you that right now. We'll be partying, boys.
Yeah, and something notable about is they are kind of utilizing him both in the Z and the X in the film here. But I really like when he's utilized in the X as a deep threat. He is getting that separation. He's making it happen, which gives me confidence that Chip Lindsey would be able to utilize him in the spread and smash very effectively, because he's doing just that. He's spreading it out. He's getting the separation, getting the hand out when he needs to, just to get a little bit of separation. I really like what I'm seeing here.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, listen, there is a belief he's better than Chris Henry Jr. Now, how wild would it be if Ohio State lands Chris Henry and we get Tristan Keys, and we can really have the battle of like, who's the best wide receiver? Plus we got Bryce Underwood. They got like Tavion St. Clair or whatever. It'd be a hell of a battle for the rivalry. But we'll get to our next player here, John. So this is another interesting development going on. So we have 5-star number 6 player in the nation, Carter Meadows. Okay. What's interesting about this is Michigan is apparently in the top 3 of this. And this kind of came out of nowhere. And typically when things come out of nowhere, it's because, for example, like Tristan Keys getting an April 5th visit. It's because things are occurring behind the scenes. And we all know if you're a 5-star, you're getting phone calls. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. In this top 3, it's looking like it's Penn State, Michigan, Georgia. I know Michigan is trying to solidify that defensive line. This is one of those players where you build, again, like, listen, you get a Jackson Cantwell, hypothetically, you get a Tristan Keys, you get a Carter Meadows. These are cornerstone players to build your class around. We know that a player like Bryce Underwood in terms of the quarterback position is not going to be likely for the 26 class, considering Bryce Underwood occurred the class prior, right? So if you can build you get these other cornerstone elite talents at these other positions, build the class around them with the projection of building the team around Bryce. That's how you do it. You land these elite players at these important critical positions: offensive tackle, edge, wide receiver may not be considered as critical, but it is for Michigan because we have an extreme need. And you better believe when Michigan sell, and I know I'm jumping right now, but when you sell Tristan Keys early playing time, which we can, you want to start as a freshman? We will. Mm-hmm. So, that's one of the things that you want to start as a freshman with Bryce Underwood as your quarterback in an offense that is going to make you a focus and you're going to be the alpha. Here's some NIL. Yeah, that's appealing to a young kid. So, to Carter Meadows again, like, this is again exciting because you see Michigan now going after these elite talents early, which is good to see, building the relationships, getting these kids on visits. I have not seen when the Carter Meadows visit is planned, but I do anticipate seeing something in the near future if it's not already scheduled. And then the last player, John, who we're going to hit on, and I don't know if Did you have that? If not, no big deal, because I can go off the sleeve here. All right.
Oh, Trey
the last
Taylor.
player, Trey Taylor, bro. 2027 QB1. Okay. We had him on our show in the summer. I've been in touch with him recently. And he told me, okay, when I plan my visit with Michigan, which has not been decided yet, although it has now, which we'll talk about. He says he's willing to come on our show and discuss his visit and things like that. So we're going to be reaching out to Trey Taylor. We look to have him on the show in the future. Friend of the program, good kid. So currently, Trey Taylor has limited his list down to Texas A&M, LSU, Michigan, Nebraska, and Illinois.
Let's go.
He has been to Michigan close to 30 times.
He
even visited Michigan in December. He's now going to be visiting Michigan again March 25th. We need to be on the lookout. We will look to get him on the show after his visit to maybe we can get an update on spring practice. What did he see? How's he feeling? He's looking to make a decision early in June 6th. So this way he can start building the 2027 class. I'm telling you right now, we better land this kid, bro. So currently, I believe he's ranked fourth in the nation, something crazy. He's an elite talent, 6'3" quarterback out of Illinois. I'm actually looking up to see where he's ranked now because they fluctuate.
Yeah.
So okay, so he's not on 247s, but on 3 I know has him ranked already. So let me just double check.
Well, while you do that, I think one thing, if we have Trey Taylor on, one thing I really am going to want to ask is, what do you think of Chip Lindsey, and what do you think of Chip Lindsey's offense? Because that's the thing that he's indicated is the one hesitation right now.
Right.
Because
correct.
He's been to Michigan so many times. He's practically maize and blue already, but he doesn't have that relationship with Chip Lindsey. And so that's something I really want to know about when he comes onto the show.
Absolutely. And he has said publicly, he has seen absolutely everything he needs to see about Michigan. He just needs to meet Chip Lindsey and see what this offense looks like. I feel, again, assumption, but I feel spring ball, he's going to see Bryce Underwood in action. Trey Taylor's similar in terms of has dual threat capability, has a strong arm. He's actually ranked 14th in the nation right now, number 4 overall quarterback for 27 class. I feel Michigan's going to knock it out of the damn park. They've been working very hard on Trey Taylor. This is a player they've been working on for years, literally. And they have almost 30 visits invested. I anticipate that Michigan's going to excel on this visit, but we'll find out if the presentation is enough to make Trey Taylor and his family comfortable enough to commit to Michigan June 6th. And I'll tell you right now, we land Trey Taylor on June 6th, we're going to do an emergency live because that's going to be a major get. Because if we land Trey Taylor, John, you land Bryce Underwood, right? You potentially land a Brady Smeagol for 26, and you get Trey Taylor for 2027. The trajectory and the future of the program at the most important position on the field is healthy for the next 6 years, John. And Michigan's going to continue recruiting at an elite level. The money's not going anywhere. Like, that's another thing too. So we can kind of get into this now. I could tell you like my view on the recruiting approach right now. Not only that, some of the whispers that's going on with the revenue sharing right now. The belief is that the football team is going to get 75% of the $20 million in terms of revenue share. 10% is going to go to the basketball team, and the remaining 10% is going to go to the remaining varsity club or varsity teams across Michigan athletics. So that's excellent news, because if you've been watching our show, you would know some of the rumblings last summer were a 50-50 split between men and women's sports. We heard in September that viewpoint was changing and evolving, and they were looking to give more to football, especially because of the way NIL has been going, the way that football team was performing on the field. It appears that currently, as it stands, as of February, 75% of that revenue share, which I believe there's a hearing or a court, something going on in April where they're going to settle that. And it should be, I believe, in motion in either June or July. I used to know that, but I kind of fell off on it. But regardless, that's an additional, like, was it 15 million or whatever it is, to the football team in terms of revenue share. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah, it
huge, man.
seems like
So,
the football team will get the vast majority, basketball number 2, and then some of the other sports a sliver of that. And remember, we talked about this early on, TJ. As much as we love women's water polo, at the end of the day, we know that football and basketball are the 2 major revenue drivers, and need the most support in terms of
absolutely.
in terms of personnel growth, in terms of all the things that need to happen for the
Yeah.
athletic department.
And to Keegan's point, so Keegan goes, it should be 80. I'll be honest, Keegan. I felt it should also be 80. I think it should be 80, 15, 5. Whatever. It is what it is. We got some donors who are playing ball. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we are. And then in terms of like Michigan's recruiting approach, John. Okay. So I've watched the way Alabama and Georgia have recruited for a while now. And if anyone's kind of watched how they've operated, they actually start slow. Alabama, especially during the Nick Saban later years, they would start slow. They'd actually be ranked in like the 20s by like July. And people would be like, oh, is Alabama falling off? No, because what you don't want to do, and we're going to watch USC, this is going to be an excellent test sample to see how USC is going to handle this. You don't want to give your best offer now, right? The clock for negotiation isn't even finalized until December. So if you start highest bidding right now and you're not keeping, you're not keeping the fire warm, which I believe that's what Michigan's really doing right now. So like, okay, this is kind of where we are. This is our number, but they're not, and nothing's firm at the moment. That's the best approach in the NIL era, because guys, we could land, and we know this, we could land a commitment in March. We could land a commitment in July. What the hell? Ask Alabama how it went for Ty Haywood. Ask LSU how it went for Bryce Underwood. It's a dangerous game to go in hard early. And I think USC's we saw what happened to USC's class last year where it fell apart at the end. Remember, once these kids see the field the play on the field, they see, oh man, this coach's seat is hot. The team's not performing well.
Yeah.
I got Missouri offering me X amount of money. I got Miami or Oregon or Michigan wants to, what I mean? Like, it's
committing
dangerous.
early is never the best idea. And remember also, right, TJ, that Lincoln Riley is on, if not a scorching hot seat, he's on his not cold seat either. I mean, he needs to perform this year and go, I'd say 8 wins, 7-8 wins, absolute minimum. So he's feeling the pressure to perform, and so they're throwing some bags, right, because they need to. And we'll see. But some of those players are gonna wind up going elsewhere. Look,
it's do or die for Lincoln Riley, and I'll tell you right now, I think it's a dangerous game to be aggressive with recruiting right now. I think the slow play is the right play. And I think the current trajectory of the prospect that Michigan is, and that's another thing too that I think we should, I want to hit on. Look at what Michigan is pursuing. A lot of high-end players early. You're not seeing a lot of the 3-star commotion, the developmental. No. You're seeing Michigan going after the premium prospect early. They're going to shoot their shots. They're going to also get a feel for where these recruitments are. And then we're going to watch this play out. I think 2026 is going to be an excellent sample to see the approach that Michigan is going to take for years to come, especially with Sean McGee as our general manager. Hopefully he stays our general manager and does not move on. But I think Michigan is playing this correctly. And I also think, like a lot of people were concerned that recruiting wasn't the strongest for 2020 in terms of wide receiver. Recruiting wasn't the strongest for 2025. The portal wasn't the strongest for wide receiver. And this is why, though, because Michigan knew they're building like a professional team, right? Your rebuild does not happen in 1 year. You build a championship, Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, World Series winner, NBA championship over years of stacking talent and depth and development. And that is Michigan's play. They're slow playing this for the long game to build a sustainable winner over years to come. So I think Michigan's on the right path. Now, as a fan, does it get a little frustrating that there's a waiting game and we have to wait to kind of see the roster built into a place where maybe we're not so anxious, because I think we are anxious at left guard. I think we are a little anxious at wide receiver. There is some questions at nickel corner, right? But at the end of the day, Michigan's recruiting at a top 10 level, if not top 5. And I think we have a good blueprint for the future of Michigan football.
Well, on that inspiring note, we do have some brand new members. So we want